Fred. Welcome back to another edition of Negus TV. So basically, I wanted to do a topic to address this ongoing problem you see in social media and as well as TV and media and film. Now, why are black people being portrayed negatively and not portrayed positively? Because what you have to understand is first, look how it happened. The negative images from, let's at least in America, where all the images are written, made, and drawn by white people, some Latinos, Asian people, and just non-black people in general, and also black people. But when you take into account the fact that black people have been exposed to negative imagery of themselves via a lot of biblical pictures, newspapers, and even radio for the last, let's say, 200 to 300 years, we have been engulfed and taken in what non-black people, particularly white people and also white Jews, think of us. And because of this, we get exposed to it. Our grandparents got exposed to it. Baby boomers got exposed to it, and we were exposed to it as well. We see it in cartoons. We see it in movies. We see it in particularly slave movies. We see it all over, even social media right now. And the fact that we do not control or even try to counteract it, you don't, because sometimes there's certain media outlets you cannot control if you do not have enough money or you don't have a political clout to take it down or change the narrative of yourself, even if you're not the numerical majority of a country. Okay, there are plenty of countries with white people in them, and they are majority political or social. They hold the normal numerical power structure in the country, like South Africa or Brazil or probably UK. In some cases, such a small place. And if you do not know how to spread positive images of yourself, then or know how that system works, then of course you're going to see Asians and places like Japan and China and Korea, countries like Peru, Mexico, and Argentina. You're going to see non-black people, and even in some cases black people. You will see them write, draw, and only put out negative characters for us to play. Brazil is a terrible place for you probably want to be a model actor. You know, dark skin is hated. It's more blatantly hated than it is in America. You go to India, all over, they're the first gods in India were black skinned people. But as soon as the Aryans took over, they started painting them white and light blue and everything like that. So the imagery of negative, the imagery of dark skin is strong, especially through you look throughout ancient times. You will see colors, you will see images of white faces, the white geisha of China. There is this poem called the New Chant, the Ten Commandments of Beauty. It's a old poem from like 1792. Kind of gives away of the story of why light skin is so valued throughout ancient China. But that's just delving into history. The fact is that we do not control the images, especially really the men. If the men are not, if the men are not creating positive outlets for the females and positive outlets for the children, and positive outlets in news media for themselves, then we will continue to see white people, Asian people, and all other races portray us negatively, or at least the way they want to portray us, because it may not even always be in a bad light, but it won't be in the light that we should capture ourselves. For example, I watch many CW shows. I watch Vampire Diaries, I watch The Flash, I watch Arrow, I watch the originals. But what I don't like is to see a black character that has no connection with black people. He's just thrown in there with a bunch of white people. Even though he may be portrayed very positively, he has no connection with his cultural background. He's just thrown in there, and his story's never really explained. It's very vague, but the white character around him they're portrayed very accurately. You know where they come from, what part of the world, how they got their accent, who brought them into existence. But you don't know where these black people came from because there's no parents, no siblings, no nothing. Watch Blade. Watch the character named Marcel. Well, reference to slavery. You could watch uh, The Flash, and well, with that one in The Flash, the original West family was white. In the Flash movie and the Flash TV show, they're turned black. And I also do consider that lazy too, because basically you're just taking a white character and making them black. And since it's coming through the narrative of a white person or a non-black person, they're projecting their viewpoints of what they think a black person is. Since they don't live our lives and since they don't know who we are internally as a people, they'll never be us. It's always going to be through their eyes. Basically, it's like a white person hopping in the body of a black person and trying to dictate what they think a black person is or portray them in what they think is positive. And oftentimes that is very meek, docile, polite, not opinionated, don't challenge, not too assertive, not challenging and questioning things. Often they're just there. You know, if you watch Harry Potter movies. Now, the black characters I see, they're there, but there's no other black adults. Uh, you'll wonder if you think, why are these one, two black kids, but there's no parents, there's no other black people. They're just there. You don't know why they're there. They just happen to be there just to fill a quota role or just to make it feel diverse. Hell, in The Lord of the Rings, there were no black folks at all. And even in other films from what y'all watch, even black superheroes, Black Panther and Blade and Spawn and Meteor Man, often the black superheroes, either outside of Black Panther, there is no cultural connection to them being black, or no city. They're not from Atlanta, they're not from Chicago, they're not from Oakland. There's no connection to where it explains how did this black person grow up, where they come from. They're just thrown into a city, thrown into an environment for where they really are out of place, and there's no other black people around for them to relate to, or there's no country that they are from to explain why they're in a place where there's really no black people in it. Like if you watch the Blade movies, the only thing that relates to him being black is him and his mother, and his mother died in the first film. If you watch Spawn, now it kind of did make sense why Spawn was black, because Todd McFarlane made a black guy, but it made sense to why the Spawn had his combat abilities, because before he was turned and made to a Spawn, he was a U.S. Navy SEAL, and that makes a lot of sense why he had all those moves and then superpowers to enhance that. Now, negative imagery in black media, so-called black media. Moving on to places like TV One and Martin Rowland, it's funny how Martin Rowland said, TV One, from your perspective. If we never gave Martin Rowland black people's perspective, and as a matter of fact, if black people are not being given a chance to express their views and telling, this is how I want you to portray me, this is how I want you to say about me, this is what I need you to put out, then it's never going to be from our perspective. Matter of fact, there's a broad perspective because we all think different. Yeah, I understand. Some of us from America, some of us are from South America, Central America, Canada, the Caribbean, Africa. Some of us are from Europe. Some black folks are from the islands, and our perspectives are all going to be different. And if we never give it or express it in some type of way to where it gets oversaturated, to where it kind of cancels out the negative stuff that's not from our minds or mouths, then we're just stuck wondering and having this conversation. People like me are just kind of explaining why this is happening and what we need to do to have it done. But places like new black media, like Jason Black, Professor Black Truth. New Black Media is coming. Matter of fact, I think it's always been here. I think it just went away, but now it's back. I feel like it's back. It's just old Black media. I never liked it. It needs to go away. I liked it when it was relevant, but now it's not. Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and all those other cats, Angela Davis, all of them, they can just go away. Maybe even some of the new people. What we need is new Black media. We need new Black images. We need new people for the generation. Hell, Umar and Boyce Watkins and Joy DeGray and Frances Cress Wilson, some of them are on their way out only because of old age. They're 40 and up. We need new, fresh ideas and new people to put it down on the scene now. I'm 33. We need people in our 20s now who are kind of rising up and to replace them. They're getting older. And for us to take control of our images, that says a good thing. Even if other people see images not made by us, as long as we expose ourselves to stuff that we create and we pass out, it's always going to say something about us that says, Black people did not write that, make that, draw that, spell that out, or think that. So even if I want to have this, it's always not going to be as powerful because they hold the power of their image. If we do not control the power of our image or put our likeness out in things, other people will give us something to like about us. And it may not be things that we like about us. It's going to be something else. And the point is, new Black media, we need to get into fields. Just like Professor Truth was talking about, how come there's not a CIA? We need to dabble in other people's cultures. We need to get to know new things, not just things from a Black perspective, but just from a worldly perspective. So we can bring that in and say, hey, look, we're here, we're people. Let's get to know the cultures of the world. Let's get to know the geography, the economics, so we can put our presence out in the world. At least not to control other people, but to control and correct people and give our direction on our faces and our ideas and what we make. And I made this because someone asked me to, and someone asked me to. I was like, you know what, I'll talk about it because I might forget. But thanks for the idea. I feel I needed to talk about that. And if you give me any more ideas, person who told me, who said, kind of talk about this, maybe I can make a part 2. I prefer to talk about both genders, Black people in general, not just one side or the other. I could make a video just strictly of what we see in the media about children or men or Black women. But that could be another video, and I want to keep it short. So tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm gonna share it on my Twitter. So those of you who do understand who want to know where to find me, I'm just not also on Twitter. I mean, I'm also not, I'm not just on Niggas TV, YouTube. I'm also on Twitter. You can find me at West Coast Fred on Twitter. Hit the astro sign and put purge_city, and you will find me at West Coast Fred. And I have a bi-weekly web series called Killmonger Avenue, where it's more grimy. It's more for Twitter, not so much YouTube, but I do share some of my stuff. So go to Twitter, type in the search window West Coast Fred, or type in at Purge City, and you will find me. And look at Killmonger Avenue. Until then, I'm signing off. Give me some ideas, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.